Nausea is one of the most researched supplements in the world, but most people don't really understand what it is or how to take it. It can be incredibly powerful and has even been used in hospitals for decades. So the question is not whether NAC works. The real question is, how do you supplement it for the greatest long-term benefits? Hello, health champions. Today, we're going to talk about what NAC is and what might happen if you were to take it for 30 days. So what is NAC? Well, there's this amino acid that the body uses called cysteine, and it contains sulfur, which is critical for making something called glutathione, which is our most important intracellular antioxidant. Usually, cysteine is referred to as the rate-limiting ingredient for making glutathione. That means that it's usually the one that is the bottleneck. It's the one that's in short supply. So if we don't have enough NAC or enough cysteine, then we don't have the raw materials. It's the thing that's usually missing for making glutathione. NAC stands for N-acetylcysteine, and that is really nothing more than a stable form of this amino acid, cysteine, because cysteine in its free form is very unstable. That sulfur group reacts with things very, very quickly. So the acetyl group is added to the cysteine. The N simply stands for nitrogen, which says that the acetyl group is attached to the nitrogen in the molecule of cysteine. So that's where the name comes from. Basically, this acetyl group protects the sulfur group from reacting with things. If we don't protect the cysteine, it's going to oxidize almost immediately. The two sulfur groups that are reactive are going to react with each other and get oxidized, and now two molecules of cysteine make one molecule of cysteine. This is still the same compound, so to speak, but it doesn't work the same way in the body. We can still use it to make glutathione, but it's very poorly utilized. So NAC is simply for protection, and it's a delivery vehicle. It's just a way to get the active form of cysteine from our digestive tract and into the cell where it can be converted to glutathione, because this is all about intracellular antioxidants. By the way, when you get an active and potent form of NAC, it has to smell. It's going to have a sulfur smell to it. Someone described it as rotten eggs, and that's kind of harsh. It's not that bad, but once you open the bottle, and if there are capsules in there, you will definitely get a whiff. Once you eat the capsule, it's not going to taste bad. It's just when you open the bottle that there will definitely be a smell. If you don't have that smell, then they've probably done something to it. Maybe it's not really in the cysteine form, but in the cysteine form, or it's oxidized, or they've done something else to cover up the smell. That means it's not really active and potent anymore. So what's the big deal about glutathione? Glutathione is our primary intracellular antioxidant. You hear so much about antioxidants and eating foods with antioxidants, and some people promote supplements with antioxidants. But this is the primary intracellular antioxidant for humans. Why is that such a big deal? Intra means inside the cell. That's where the action is. That's where we make tissue, where all the enzymes are, where we make energy, and where we manufacture things, because that's where we make most of the energy. That's also where almost all the oxidation in the body takes place. That's where we need to have a strong antioxidant defense, and that's what glutathione is all about. You can buy glutathione as a supplement, but it's very hard to get it into the cell. It's too large a molecule to naturally make it in there. They can design various different delivery vehicles, but that gets very expensive and the absorption still isn't that great. So you really want to make your own inside the cell. That's what the cysteine we just spoke of, the NAC, N-acetylcysteine, is all about. NAC can get into the cell. It's the delivery vehicle that we talked about. You can get the active form into the cell, and now you can make your own glutathione. So does NAC really work? There's really no question about that. It's been around for a long, long time. It's been used by millions as a supplement for decades. More than that, it's been researched for decades because it is so potent. How do we know that? Because it's been used in hospitals for many, many years as what's called a mucolytic, meaning it thins out mucus. One of the things that gets really thick and sticky in mucus are disulfide bonds, and NEA can help break those disulfide bonds and thin out the mucus. That's been the primary use in hospitals for a very long time. It's also the standard of care for acute liver failure. If someone comes into the emergency room and they've had an overdose, for example, taking too much Tylenol or related compounds, NAC is used. It doesn't mean you have to swallow a whole bottle at one time, even if you take the recommended dose or less than that. But do it for a long time, you can still hurt your liver to the point where you get liver failure. In that situation, the liver runs out of glutathione very, very rapidly, and the fastest way to replenish that is with NAC. In the emergency room, they actually give people NAC intravenously. But here's what we need to understand. That is a high-dose, life-saving intervention. Just like medicine, it doesn't make you healthy. It keeps you alive when there is a crisis, but it doesn't restore the function that has been lost or that developed the problem in the first place. A typical supplemental dose of NAC in a capsule would be perhaps 600 milligrams. What we have to understand is that this is for short-term therapeutic use. If you have acute oxidative stress or want short, intensive liver support, you could take 600 milligrams and be totally fine. You could use it temporarily for a heavy detox load, but for the long term, taking that much is far from optimal. It can start shifting your redox balance. What is redox balance? In your body, we oxidize things. You use oxygen to make energy. Excess oxidation, however, creates damage and stress. It's all about balance. Making energy is good, and the immune system also uses oxidation to kill pathogens, so we definitely need it. The opposite of oxidation is reduction, which the body uses for repair and signaling. If we take too many antioxidants, we may blunt normal cell responses and adaptive stress responses. While we want cells to be resilient, too many antioxidants could actually make them less resilient in the long run. Think of redox balance as fire versus fire extinguishers. Fire can be good because it produces heat when we need it. Fire extinguishers are good when there's too much fire, but if one dominates completely, we disturb the balance. Even though cysteine is critical for glutathione manufacture, and we absolutely depend on glutathione, we don't need a whole lot. Cysteine occurs naturally in food because we survived and made glutathione before supplements existed. The issue is that most cysteine is used very quickly before it ever reaches cells to make glutathione. Much of it is used by intestinal cells, which have a high turnover. A lot of cysteine is also converted to cysteine and used for protein synthesis. As a result, very little cysteine actually reaches the inside of most cells to become glutathione. When we take NAC as a supplement, however, it's a protected delivery package. NAC bypasses digestion and oxidation and is delivered into the cell where it can be used directly to make glutathione. So why do we need supplementation at all? Because we have more stress, more toxins, more pollution, poor gut health, and many other factors compared to ancestral times. For long-term dosing, about 100 milligrams is sufficient and safe. That's enough to support long-term production while respecting the body's balance and feedback systems. NAC and cysteine are not the final product. They're just building blocks, but they are the rate-limiting ones. 100 milligrams is enough to support steady production without forcing chemistry. The goal is to support physiology, not override it. For most people taking NAC, there is a missing piece called methylation. Methylation is simply the transfer of a methyl group, CHH, a carbon with 3 hydrogens. This happens trillions of times per second in the body. It's one of the most basic processes in biology. Methylation turns reactions on and off, regulates speed, and neutralizes toxins. It detoxifies hormones, regulates neurotransmitters, and controls gene expression through epigenetics. For this discussion, methylation is necessary for glutathione production and recycling. There's a gene called MTHFR that codes for an enzyme called methylene tetrahydrofolate reductase. More than 50% of the world's population has a variant of this gene that doesn't work optimally. This reduces the capacity to make glutathione and recycle homocysteine. High homocysteine is inflammatory and an independent risk factor for heart disease. People with this variant also have reduced methylation capacity. There are supplements that address MTHFR and homocysteine, but there is only one that I designed called UmethylBiz. It includes NAC along with other active factors and supports all the pathways we've discussed. It also helps digestion by including hydrochloric acid to support stomach acid. I'll put a link below if you want to check it out. There's also a massive discount right now, but it's only for the next 5 days to the end of the year. So what would happen if you take NAC for 30 days? First, you would increase your capacity to detoxify and support your liver, especially phase 2 detox. Better detox means fewer reactive and inflammatory intermediates and less spillover into peripheral tissues. Many people report improved digestion, better food tolerance, calmer skin, and fewer supplement reactions. Extremely sensitive individuals may tolerate supplements better, though some people with methylation sensitivity may react even to small amounts. Second, you would reduce oxidative stress systemically. Glutathione neutralizes free radicals, leading to cleaner cellular signaling, improved mitochondrial function, better stress tolerance, fewer crashes, and improved recovery from stress and exercise. Third, you would likely see improved methylation of neurotransmitters, which could improve neurological regulation, balance between sympathetic and parasympathetic systems, clearer headspace, and better sleep quality. Fourth, because NSC is a mucolytic, you could see improved mucosal and barrier function. This includes skin, digestive tract, and airways. NSC breaks down thick mucus and reduces oxidative damage to barrier surfaces, leading to better respiration, digestion consistency, and overall barrier integrity. NAC can be very powerful and inexpensive, but it has to smell to be active, and it needs proper methylation to work effectively. Most people have some MTHFR compromise, meaning they can't utilize NAC efficiently without additional support for homocysteine processing. If you enjoyed this video, you're going to love that one. And if you truly want to master health by understanding how the body really works, make sure you subscribe, hit that bell, and turn on all notifications so you never miss a life-saving video.